Okay, let's talk about the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami Heat, white hot Miami Heat apparently on their shirts versus the Boston Celtics. 2-2 going to game 5. Someone's got to win 2 games here. So I guess it's been a topsy-turvy sort of series. I guess hasn't been very exciting. That's all the media coverage. Like, what is this rubbish at the moment that both teams are putting out? I think most games have been a blowout almost after the first quarter or even the first half, I guess. And I guess now we're going back to Miami for this pivotal game 5. And I got to say, they look banged up. They look banged up. Jimmy Butler was best player in the world 3 games ago, and then now he looks like Jimmy Butler that's banged up. And we've all seen Jimmy Butler banged up. We know he's a warrior. We know he plays through whatever he can play through, and so on and so forth. But we also know that when he's not 100%, he just doesn't play 100%. Because he probably can't. And I think Lowry's banged up. Duncan Robinson's back in the rotation, and I don't think they're looking great. Okay, and we're like a Tatum or Jaylen Brown rolled ankle away from me changing my whole stance here. But I guess clearly Boston obviously have concerns, obviously, with Marcus Smart's ankle. Didn't look great, and then he comes back out of the tunnel jogging onto the court, and his poor Pierce all over again, and then they lost anyway. And Robert Williams, I think, is still not fully out of the woods yet, in a sense, with his concerns there. I think with his knee, I think, is it. But look, they look healthier, and I think I think I had Boston in 6, and I'm going to stick with Boston in 6. That means they're going to go obviously pick up the next 2, and it's over. All right, they're going to get into the finals here. And I think Tatum and Jaylen Brown over a hobbled Jimmy Butler and the crew that he's got around him. Tyler Hero is obviously not healthy either. Okay, I think Boston are going to finish this off as I had picked originally.
Yeah, I think we both agreed Boston in 6, so I don't have to feel too bad about how this is playing out.
Footnote: you picked Miami to go all the way to the finals first, so you might want to explain your change of thoughts here.
I think obviously health is going to be a big part at this part of the season, but you look at kind of Miami's run a little bit, and they're taking on the Hawks. That's the first seed generosity, but they didn't really fight too hard for that series. And then Philly, Embiid being out the first 2 games now in revisionist history is a bit more interesting, because can Philly pick up at least one of those 2 games at home? But everyone that Miami's versed so far has one player, really. So it was Trae Young and Joel Embiid. You game plan for that, you figure it out. This is the first time that obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, have to be game planned for, and they're not overly succeeding at that. In fact, out of the 2 teams defensively, Boston looks like the one that is pretty incredible. So they're shutting people down. Bam goes off one game and then he's completely, non-existent in the other one. It is a really up and down series, and everyone's proved that they can win on the road. It feels like Boston should carry away with this one. Especially with all the health concerns. If Jimmy Butler really isn't able to get more than 15 points on the board, without like tearing a meniscus again or something, and Kyle Lowry is, going to take a charge and then tear his hamstring, and Tyler Hero is like unwell or just getting shut down. It's Boston in 6. I think that's a pretty safe thing. Even if Miami wins game 5, though, it's Boston in 7 still. It's a very weird sort of, the better team should win out here. The early take would be is that whoever comes out of this East matchup, I don't think it matters, because I think Golden State will just annihilate them, irrelevant of today's result. I think that was the tokenistic. They've got to get 1 game just to extend the series. I didn't think that Golden State now have concerns. Admittedly, in a week's time, we could be talking about, oh my God, the Mavs just put off the first 0-3 comeback. But yeah, I feel like Boston will have it in 6. But then go on to lose the finals.
No, look, you're absolutely right. I think Milwaukee was in a similar position, up 3-2. Then Boston got game 6 and 7, and that was that. So it's Tatum's time. Tatum steps up here, and he leads the way. And I don't think there's anyone that can stop him now on the Miami Heat, especially with Butler hobbled and the lack of depth they have from their key players. So let's see what happens. But I think it's all over for the Miami Heat.